Hello and welcome back to Open Everyone. Our next guest, I'm so excited to have her here. She is an internationally recognized interdisciplinary artist hailing from the Boogie Down Bronx. And she doesn't live here anymore, but we always love having her come back home. And her latest exhibit, Sovereign, is on display at the Longwood Arts Gallery at Hostos. And the exhibit highlights 5 queens symbolizing female empowerment, dignity, and resilience. And joining us now to share more, we welcome my beloved friend, hailing from Florida, Profesora Wanda Raimundi-Ortiz.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Should I use my profe voice or should I use
we're going to introduce Chuleta
homegirl
afterwards.
voice?
Oh, we're going to do Chuleta afterwards. Before we go, we got to give them a little taste of
A little bit,
Chuleta.
a little something.
Pero, oh my goodness, welcome back home,
Thank
Wanda.
you. Thank you for having me here. It's good to be home.
Well, you have done some incredible work. I wondered, how they always say, oh, if you make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. But you have been able to really put yourself in this light of really being immortalized is what I like to consider it. Well,
Yeah, I guess
because
so, huh?
artists usually become visible or valuable when they're no longer here. And that is certainly not the case with you.
Kicking and screaming. I'm going out kicking and screaming.
But leading in from Latinas 50 Plus and the women empowerment, let's talk about the inspiration and really what's drawn you to just exhibit these reinas in all these realms that you have, and then we'll go into details about the different versions because there's performance art included.
Yeah. So it's interesting to appear at the segment right after Latina, like the 50 plus, because the impetus for all of my work is my mom. And I've talked about this a lot, where I'm inspired to make work about her, about myself, as a connection to her, because she was not allowed to read at all. Like, she didn't know how to read English or Spanish. She wasn't allowed to learn. And so growing up with that knowledge, actually coming to know this, like when I was about in high school age, all of a sudden, like, our entire history felt fragile, because if someone didn't document her presence and subsequently our presence, then she would pass on, and then she'd be just another immigrant, the Latina story that just kind of fades away, like the sand, taken away like with the tide. And I'm not going out like that, right?
Right.
So,
Yes.
And it actually, and I kid, but I'm not kidding, in the sense that it was important for me to create something that left a mark, a clear mark of our presence, my presence, and because of my presence, she'd be documented. I grew up knowing that her mother died when she was only 6 years old. She was not allowed to keep any keepsakes of her grandmother, so she doesn't have any memory of her mom. So there's a lot of loss and empty, like a lot of voids and spaces. And so that's where my work kind of comes in, to either try to reconstruct or just from the little bits of information that I have, and ultimately use those kinds of traumas as a way to build anew, you know what I mean? And it's definitely a form of catharsis, and it's, in some cases, cheaper than therapy. Sometimes not.
Boy, everybody's speaking truth today.
Truth to power, girl. Truth to power.
I'm looking forward to seeing some of the images that we have that were sent to us, so that we can talk a little bit more about, your choice in styles, because some of them remind me of saints. And so I want to know a little bit more about even your performance work that you were doing for the Smithsonian, right?
Yes.
She's Smithsonian too. I know, I can't believe it.
I can't. I have to pinch myself sometimes.
I know, I'm going to pinch you for you.
Crazy.
But can we see those images so that we can just have a conversation about this fabulous exhibit that's
there she goes.
Longwood? Oh my goodness, look at this.
Yeah.
So is that an image?
Yeah, these are images from the work, some of the works you're going to see at Longwood.
But they're on display.
Yes,
right.
absolutely,
Okay, so I
yes.
just wanted to make sure. Okay. Oh, we went so fast. I wanted to talk
Oh
a
no,
little bit
absolutely.
about
Well,
them.
that's from the Smithsonian
That's
exhibition.
the performance
yeah,
art
that's the most
piece.
recent one. Yes.
And that's the one that you actually embrace people and hug them. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
And what kind of response you've gotten. I was following it on Facebook Live, and it's just phenomenal. Oh, wait, before we talk about the one that you do, this is the infamous one.
Yeah.
Who is that?
This is Guerrilla Reina, and this piece again, like I said, all the queens are anchored in personal trauma and anxiety, and so each one comes from this dark sort of place that I kind of mine for my inspiration, and this is kind of my response to like surviving domestic violence and what ends up happening to you as a survivor. You become almost hyper vigilant, and so you almost are on the offense, and so to your own detriment. So I wanted to create this queen that was about protection, that was about but it was also to the point of absurdity. So she's wearing this, barbarian armor. She's got a sword. But in the series, a whole suite of photos, there's no one. She's not fighting anyone but herself. So there's blood. There's this. She's washing herself in a lake. But there's no one else implicated. And so she's got sleeves that are made out of bubble wrap. So there's things that are useless. It's very absurd. And this
almost like an oxymoron.
Exactly.
Right.
And so this, my gown is made out of conservators, art conservators. Materials, because I was grappling with pregnancy and frailty, and so to be treated like a porcelain doll was something that I was never used to feeling, and so I wanted to use this space to kind of examine that, and so that's kind of how I use art to explain my work.
No, it's great, right? No, art is healing, and thank you for sharing the inside of your inspiration, because it's very personal, and so. Tonight, okay, so this exhibit opened on Wednesday, and it is at Longwood Arts Gallery.
Yes, ma'am.
However, you have various other characters that are not necessarily related to La Rhina series, and I understand one of them is going to be touring people today.
Yeah, so Chuleta's coming out of retirement.
And what is this Profe Chuleta? What, she went to college and became
she got her PhD from Hard Knocks University. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so Chuleta kind of put me on the map. And so in her own way, she's kind of a queen. She's adorned herself, and she's made herself a sovereign of art. And that's kind of my own way of critiquing the institution and making it kind of her reclaiming her agency to talk about art in her own way. Very hood, very urban, you know what I'm saying?
Very fun, very fun.
Oh, yeah. So tonight.
She walks around with a doobie,
all the
right?
time.
I don't know if people know what a doobie is.
Well, you're going to have to look it up.
Yeah.
Or, so she kind of took a backseat for a while so that I can focus on the Reinas. But Chuleta is the foremost authority on the work of Wanda Raimundi-Ortiz, so it seems fitting for her to come back newly refreshed to discuss the work.
And it sounds fun. It sounds so much fun.
It ain't your mama's art tour.
It ain't your mama's art tour.
No, ma'am.
I love
no,
that.
ma'am.
Okay, so what time is this taking place before we go so that people can come?
6 o'clock sharp at Longwood Arts Project. Be there, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be there, right? You gotta show up.
That's it.
You gotta be present.
That's it.
Right?
That's spoken from Chuleta, I think. Ish. Yeah.
She's trying to come out.
I can't wait to see her. All right, you guys, once again, Sovereign is on display now through August 2nd at the Longwood Arts Gallery at Hostos, located on 450 Grand Concourse in the Bronx. And the summer gallery hours are Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. And for more information, you can visit bronxarts.org. But don't forget, tonight, Profe Chuleta is going to be giving a tour at 6 o'clock, so be there tonight. Okay, you guys, we're taking a quick break, but don't go anywhere. Bobby C's weekly sports roundup is coming up next.